wrong scene. Welcome everyone to this week in Svelte. I tried to put my big old face as a screen, but apparently I kind of suck at this still. So, but it's a happy new year, first thing first, because it's the first this week in Svelte of the year, and happy to finally be back because it's been a while. It's been 3 weeks, but I mean Christmas time. So yeah, my wife would have killed me, and I would have missed Svelte Summit, which is not good. We are back. So we have a bit of a changelog to be over. There was not a huge like going around during Christmas time, obviously, but still quite some fun things to add and bug to fix. So let's go over them, especially because after this we will have a community showcase, which I'm very excited to hear about. So stay tuned because we will see. So let's go over to changelog. Well, first thing first, we have the last Advent of Svelte thing. So very cool because now Svelte natively support CLSX, which is basically something like in Svelte you would do something like state true, like selected. I don't know. We're going to do input bind checked is equal selected. So if you had something like this, type check box. So you can do something like class selected, and then if you have some styles and you have dot selected and color red, for example, if it's selected, the color will be red, otherwise it will be. So like this class is applied conditionally based on the thing, and this is not going away, so don't worry. But class itself got a big new update because now you can actually pass an object, and inside this object, if you pass any truthy value, will be applied, otherwise it will not be applied, so it works the same. But this gives you a lot of flexibility, like especially to group class of the same time, like because this accept arrays too. So if I have multiple things, like I can say, I don't know, let's say that I want to do like selected and one, I mean even something like these, I mean not these, sorry, like selected and one, two, I don't know, I don't have a good example, but you get it. One true, for example, like in this case it will apply the class one, yeah, because it is selected, and you can actually specify like 1, 2, which is true. You can mix and match all of this, so this is very flexible, especially for something like Tailwind classes, because you can basically put a lot of them together and toggle one boolean to like cause a bunch of classes to be selected. So pretty nice. And also a bug fix of a bug that I caused. So this is like, you can basically like if you have some keyframe which is in the global scope, then it was renaming the keyframe name inside global, even if it was not in the global scope. So yeah. Fix ensure inspect trace works correctly with null values. This was just something simple, like inspect trace, if there was some null value it was failing, and now it was not. Ensure unknown derived correctly gets relinked to the graph. So there is this concept of an unknown derived in Svelte, which is basically a derived which does not have a parent. and the parent is basically a component. So if you're using derived inside a file, for example, that's called an unknown derived. And like those are a bit different from normal derived, because they, like, if nobody is listening for a derived, for an unknown derived, we can actually skip the work of going over the derived. But then if someone asks for it, we need to relink it to the reactive graph. And it was not working before, and now it is. Again, the same, like another small problem of the same time. Correctly highlight source reassigned inside trace. So basically, if you were using inspect trace and you were reassigning state inside an effect, it was incorrectly highlighted as not changed, but now it's fixed. So another fun thing was the loose parser for the advent of Svelte, and we actually, like, which basically allow you to get autocompletion even if like the component cannot be properly parsed. But there was a small problem with the each, because basically it was not parsed properly, and so this was actually just a problem for the language tools. So you would get an error in the language tools because it was not able to parse correctly, but the code would work just fine. We should this fix also applied the logic that I just described to you. I can never name this thing, to custom element. So custom element, like even if you were using a custom element, it was not applying. Now it is. Use cached index of array prototype method internally. This is just a perf thing, and at the end of the day is just in dev. But basically, like, we had a report of someone saying, hey, there's this huge performance issue in dev mode. Like, it's not actually in dev mode, like, it is in dev mode. They didn't know, so he was worried. And but now it's actually good even in dev. Make tween work with continuous target changes. So like the new tween class to smoothly tween between two numbers, it was not working with continuous target changes. Like if you change it a lot of time, it was snapping around, and now it's fixed. Don't throw bind invalid export if there is also a bindable prop with the same name. So basically, like you in Svelte 5, you cannot longer export a bindable, like a const, to be able to get that const from the instance. So you actually got a warning about this. But if I'm not mistaken, we actually removed the bindable validation altogether. Inherit correct namespace for title elements. This is always wrong. Like, it's always bothered me because like the namespace in HTML actually matter a lot. And so since title, you can also use title inside an SVG. If you don't inherit the correct namespace, it will be a mess. Make tween duration 0, set current to target immediately. So if you have a 0 duration on tween, it actually immediately set the target. Probably what was happening is that if you had something duration 0, it would still have a micro task where it was not 0. Guard against custom element being unavailable in browser extension context. I love when people find these edge cases because it means Svelte is used a lot even in this context. But basically, like, custom element is literally not available in extension context. So if you try to access, it will error out. And since Svelte was basically trying to access it to see if it was available, I think, it was erroring out. Treat inert as a Boolean attribute. Inert, if you don't know, is an attribute that you can specify on element, and if you specify inert on that element, it's basically untouchable. Like, the user cannot interact with the element itself. For example, when you open a dialog, all the rest of the page is automatically set to inert. Remove leading new line from pre-contents. This was a wild chase and something that I discovered. I mean, my fix was actually more complex, and this fix was actually by Rich, which was much smarter. Who would have guessed it? And but basically, like, pre-tags literally discard the first \n. Like, if you have a pre-tag and you do \n, like, you go to the next line, the pre-tag in the browser like completely ignores your \n, which is wild to me. Let's see. Handle default values in object destructuring within each blocks when using characters like this and this. Okay, oh, this is pretty cool. Like, this was actually a very old issue, and I think the guy that made this contribution is actually the first time contributing to Svelte, which is pretty nice. Basically, like, if you had to destructure value that contained the string this or this, it was messing with the Svelte parser, so you had to basically do some weird stuff, and he fixed it. Pretty cool. Account for min width height in slide transition. So now if there is a min width and min height, the slide will actually work correctly. Prevent long delays causing erratic spring behavior. So this is, if there was some very long delay, it was probably causing some problem in the spring behavior. Warn on using slide transition with table elements. I think I saw this PR. Basically, like, you cannot transition table or something like this. Like, there is a problem with tables and with overflows of tables. And so, like, if you're trying to use a slide now on a table, it will actually warn you. Improve signal performance by reducing duplicate depths. So this was a pretty cool thing that Dominic discovered, I implemented. Like, he had this idea, and it's pretty cool because basically signals needs to be like, if there is if you access the same dependency twice, you actually need to store the same dependency twice. And now with this, it's basically it removed that need. I mean, not removed, but there are less duplicate dependency, which is good for memory. So it's pretty cool. And this also improve a bit performance for some like pretty huge. Like, if you had a lot of derived, for example, it would reduce increase performance quite a bit. Allow non-numeric values to be tweened by snapping immediately to new value. So if you have a non-numeric value and you are trying to tween it, it will immediately swap to the new value. Remove bindable prop validation. That was what I was talking about. Tweak invite assignment compiler error message. Better error messages is always cool. Silence false positive stale value warning. So this is a warning that I don't know if it was completely removed or just partially removed, because I think oh no, maybe it's just, yeah, okay, yeah, it's just a single case, because sometimes like warning like this can get annoying. Account for parent scale when animating elements, always good. Apply overflow hidden style when transitioning element where necessary, good. New comment that rune perf is ingenious. Yeah, it's very ingenious. Like, it's basically using like a read version and a write version to prevent this. Pretty cool. Properly add owner to function bindings. So function bindings is another advent of Svelte thing that we released. And in Svelte, if you're trying to mutate some state from within a component and it's owned by another component, you will get a warning. But if you bind, then it's fine. And since like function binding at the end of the day are just a binding, if you are binding that way, we were not extending the ownership to the new component, and now we are. Reset dependency read version after reaction execution. This was also a bug that fixed, like it was it was reported by the storybook guys, Jeppe. Hi, if you're listening. Because it broke some component in storybook, and so this was pretty nice to fix. Let's go over to SvelteKit. We have just one new release, which is correctly notify page store subscribers. So once we released page like up state, that now you can actually access a rune version of the page store on SvelteKit. It was causing some problem to the page store. It was not being notified, and now it is. Pre-render data when there is no server load, but the trailing slash option is set from the server. Trailing slash is a very tricky thing in SvelteKit. Fix, correctly remove navigation callbacks when returning function in on navigate. I don't know what this means, sorry guys. Let me see, I think we have some new release. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Like now the Svelte migrate CLI allow you to have sub-path migration. So before you had to run migrate on at the bottom, at the root of your application, and you could just choose like from the top folders like source and stuff like that. Like you have the list of folders, but that was it. And now you can actually specify, okay, I want to migrate only this specific folder by specifying the path, which is pretty cool. Migrate, there's also migration for upstate. Move snippet, like this was just something to move snippets to the correct place when only module script is present, so that you can export them. Safely access Svelte config during startup. Support generic attributes for JSDoc. This is also important. So now you can, like, as you may know that you can specify a generic. So if you want to do lang equal ts, you can also specify a generics, and you can specify something like t extends string, for example, and this will be a generic. And obviously, like, this works in TypeScript, and now it also works without lang TypeScript. So you can still specify the generics, and you get the t here, and that will be converted to a template in JSDoc, which is nice. Let me see if there's something else. Selection range. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I think that's it for the changelog. So pretty cool. It was not super big, but still cool enough. Just a quick announcement before moving over to the community showcase. First, obviously, you heard me say this, you will heard me say this until May, with subsequent level of hype, because I'm so hyped about being there. But there is Svelte Summit, spring 2025, May 8 and 9 in Barcelona, and also online. We have some other, like, Rich Aris will be there, obviously. Patak, which is like the core maintainer of Vite, Scott, another Svelte ambassador, Syntax FM, Level Up Tutorials. Is a pretty chill guy, and obviously will be speaking there. And I think, like, the call for proposal is actually finished, so you cannot submit a talk anymore. So, but stay tuned, because we will announce the speakers soonish, I guess. I don't know when. And another announcement, small announcement, is that it's the last 7 hours, 4 minutes, and 44 seconds to submit your Svelte hack. So if you want, like if you did something cool with runes and or in general with Svelte, please submit your your enter. You can win big prizes and it will be fun in general. So yeah, pretty cool. You have 7 hours. So if you have something, you can propose it. Otherwise, you have 7 hours to come up with an idea, code it, and do it, and you can do it. Okay, that's it for this. So let me switch to my other guest thing because I want to talk with what like uh, we are in infinite mode. So
Oh,
switch back to your code. Um, so yeah, Noam he made this pretty cool package called Sailkit. He will tell you more about this. As usual, if you want, if you have any question, drop them in chat. We can go for a small Q&A after, and I will not spoil you what his library is about because I'm sure he's gonna do a great job. So please, and I'll see you later.
okay. Hi, everyone. Hi, Paolo. Thank you for having me. I'm a huge fan of the show for a very, very long time, so I'm very happy to be here. Okay, so my name is Noam Shemesh. You can find me on Blue Skies mostly these days, or on GitHub as Nuki N00KI. I live in a small village in the north of Israel with my wife and my cute dog, Shula. I've been building web applications for about the last 8 years, more or less 8 years, off my day job. Sadly, my job is not at programming. I'm a self-taught programmer, so I don't have any programming-related formal education. I just like to build stuff. I started my journey with Ruby on Rails, then tried really every other framework under the sun before discovering Svelte and SvelteKit. Uh, and I've been building stuff with Svelte and Kit for, I want to say, something like 4 years now. I currently maintain two open source projects. The first one is SvelteKit Omakase, which is an opinionated starter kit for SvelteKit applications. And we'll talk about some related things to this opinionated bit in a second. And the second one, which we will talk about today, is SailKit, which is a toolkit for composing responsive email templates in SvelteKit applications. So that in general, I wanna talk a bit first about why I personally choose Svelte and Kit. I think it's important to talk about these things, and I wanted to talk about it before we dive into SailKit. So I truly believe both Svelte and SvelteKit prioritizes the developer experience, and I feel like they both empower creativity and productivity. And what I mean by that is when I think about creativity, I think about I want to spin up a new Svelte project, and I want to be able to create what I envisioned in my head, uh, and I don't want anything to stop me. So with Svelte, I truly feel like I have the power to do anything I want with the browser and do it easily. And there are no limits to Svelte, just like there are no limits to my imagination. And the other side of that, which is very important as well, is productivity. I feel like I can build stuff with Svelte very fast. Like I can imagine something, I spin up a Svelte project, and I can quickly get it done. And I think it's very important. The second point is it feels right to me, at least. I know HTML, I know CSS, and I know JavaScript, and I feel like Svelte does an incredible job trying not to abstract too much out of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And both Svelte and SvelteKit, I feel like they are based on the pure primitives of web, which are HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So it feels right to me. The third point is I feel like Svelte is very simple and thoughtful. And what I mean by that, it is based on web standards and on clear and coherent mental models. Uh, what it means basically is I get it. I get it. I can look at a Svelte file and I just get it right away, which is very important for me. And last but not least, the most important thing is the Svelte community, which is a vibrant, passionate, and welcoming community. Everybody wants to help each other, and I think it is very important for any dev tool or framework or language to have a good community, a welcoming community, a striving community, and I really think Svelte has that. What Svelte doesn't have, unfortunately or not, I don't know. We'll see. We'll think about it. SvelteKit is not a batteries included framework, so it doesn't natively handles database interactions, authentication, validation, email, etc. Uh, you need to figure out what you want to build and how you want to build it. SvelteKit in particular doesn't make any assumptions about what you should use, which is, I guess, it can be good and it can also be bad for beginners or generally if you want to be productive. As I've mentioned before, I want to be fast. I want to move fast. So it's a question if it's good or bad. Let me know what you think. The second thing is SvelteKit. I feel like it's an unopinionated framework. It lets you choose and use whatever you like, as I've mentioned. Uh, and I like to move fast. So when it comes to emails, and we are here today to speak about emails, I like to move fast and I want to write Svelte everywhere, hence Sailkit. Okay, so first and foremost, Sailkit is a work in progress. The journey has just begun. It is live for, I think, about 2 weeks now. It is very early, so please handle it with care. No, I'm just kidding. Try to break it, but please do expect some bugs, some quirks, and play with it. I really want everyone to play with it and let me know what you think. If there are things that should improve, if there are any issues or bugs or anything like that, the only way forward for SailKit is for you guys to play with it and let me know what you think. And yeah, so let's get into it. What is SailKit? SailKit is an open source toolkit for composing responsive email templates in SvelteKit applications, responsive and optimized, I should say. And it does that by providing a set of Svelte components and some utility functions to help you create optimized and responsive, production-ready, hopefully production-ready email templates. You can find SailKit at sailkit.xyz, the documentation site, or the GitHub repo at github.com/nuki with 00 slash SailKit. Okay, why did I build SailKit? Because email is hard. It is very hard. Creating visually consistent responsive emails for different email clients and devices is not an easy task, not trivial thing to do. It's very hard to do it, and frankly, I just never want to deal with it. When I build my projects, I find myself struggling with emails. So I thought about building something that will make this process just a bit less painful for me. And SvelteKit simplifies this process by firstly offering an intuitive API for composing your email templates in Svelte, and provides some utility functions like for rendering and previewing your email templates in development environments. It provides Svelte 5 components that feel familiar and ergonomic to use, and this is, for me at least, it's an important point, because when when I build Svelte and SvelteKit applications, I just want to use Svelte. I don't want to use anything else, and this is very important. After that, it translates your Svelte email templates into optimized MJML markup. So this is a new thing. Uh, MJML is a templating language designed for responsive email templates, and it has a great engine. So we'll talk about that in a bit. And after it translates your Svelte components, it leverages the MJML's rendering engine to generate high quality, responsive HTML output that adheres to best practices, again, hopefully. Okay, maybe we'll do a quick demo. I think we can try to do that, and we'll see it in action. Okay, hopefully you can see my editor. Okay, so this is VS Code. What I have here is simply a new SvelteKit application. I just ran the new Svelte CLI. I did like px sv create, and that's about it. And there's a little component here that we'll look on in just a second. So let's just dive in. I will open my terminal, and I will just install. I'm using pnpm. You can use npm or yarn or whatever you like, whatever suits you. And we will install into the project. We will install Sailkit and MJML, because MJML is not bundled inside Sailkit, so you need to install it yourself. Let's just run it for now. Okay, so what I have here, I just created inside my lib folder a mail folder, inside it a templates folder, and inside it just a component. This is my email template. So you can see this is just a normal, ordinary Svelte component, nothing fancy, nothing special. I am importing some components from the Sailkit library. You can see we have an HTML component, a head, body, section, column, image, text, button. They are all designed to help you uh, achieve a responsive template. So I'm defining here the props for this component. Again, just pure Svelte, nothing too special here. Okay, so I have a name prop. Let's see if we can use it here somewhere. Here's the name placeholder. Oh, that's nice. We can just use here, just again, regular Svelte. Let's take a look uh, on this component though and see. So I'm using the HTML, which is the outermost component of any email template in SailKit, and I can use some props to define my template. So in the head component, I have a subject, which is like the title of the email. I have a preview, which generates a meta tag for preview. I can define fonts with their names, and there are links that I can use later inside my markup. I can define styles, global styles, or CSS classes that I can refer to again inside my markup, or I can even target and specify and target specific components, Sailkit components. So I can do like, let's say I want to target component, and the component I want to target is text, and the value will be text decoration inline. Okay, so now all of my text components will get these styles. These styles will apply to them. So this is you can see here. I can specify inline true, and that's it. And now we can start to build our template. I have a body with a background color, a section, columns, images, just like you would work with pure Svelte and HTML. It should it should work as you expect. The thing is, when you see here the section and the columns, so columns will display horizontally or vertically based on the display width, basically. So if your email is someone is looking at your email in a mobile device, it will display vertically and on a desktop horizontally, and it should work automatically. This is the power of MJML. Uh, so here you can see I'm just specifying some styles as props. I have sub components like the column divider, which creates like a divider. We'll see it in a minute. Uh, I'm just let's see. Yeah, we have a button component, text components. This is just, again, it looks and feels, and this is what I was going for, and I hope you will feel the same as I do. It feels just like Svelte. It could be better, and we will make it better, but for now, it feels just like writing Svelte, and this is what I was going for with Sailkit. I wanted to feel very, I didn't want to do any context switching. I just wanted to write my email templates in Svelte, but I wanted my email templates to be responsive and production ready, and that's it. So this is the component. What we'll try to do now is we'll create. We have a page Svelte here. Okay. All right. So we will import the component. Just imagine this is not test. What is okay? We will import template component, which is my email template from the templates folder. And we will import the two main functions from Sailkit. The first one is render email, of course, and the second one is preview email. So now let's try to do it. Let's do async, okay, export async function load. And now I can do something like, oh, export async, export async function low. Let's do const email. We need to await the render email function. And the reason is Sailkit runs on the server. It's not a client-side library because we are using the built-in Svelte render function, which renders components on the server side. So I'm awaiting render email. I will provide the component itself as the first argument, and I can now provide the props. So let's do this week in Svelte. Great. I can also, I have an object, an options object here, so I can, if I want, I can have the plain text. I can have the output beautified, and I can also have the output minified, for example. Okay, and now let's just see if it works. I will console log. Okay, let's do like this. I can actually deconstruct what's returned from render email. So what I get back is HTML. I get back the plain text if plain text is true, and I get a some metadata. So let's try to do that. We will return no return. Let's console log it for now. HTML, plain text, and meta. Let's return nothing, and let's see if it works. Hopefully, it should work. All right. So this is a long function, so I will just visit uh, visit the page. Okay, and now let's check our, yep, let's check our terminal, and we can see here this beautiful thing is our HTML output. So if I go to we need tables uh, in emails to make it behave like we want. We also get, you can see here, we get the plain text version of our email and some metadata time, like the render time and the size of the output in bytes, in case you need it for some reason. And actually, this HTML output that you can see here, that we get here, you can feed it into any email sending API you're using. You can use SendGrid, or you can use Resend, or Mapit, whatever you want, you can use it. It is HTML, pure HTML, ready to deliver. And the plain text as well should be okay. And now let's just do the same thing, but now let's use the preview email, because if you're I know for myself that when I build web applications and I want to test a lot of emails, I just want to see the email. I don't want to send it anywhere. I just want to see it. So we have like a quality of life function exported from Sailkit. So what we can do is we can just await whatever you want, whenever you want, and wherever you want. We can await, sorry, the preview email. And again, I'm passing in the template uh, component. And here I can pass in the props as we did earlier. And here I have also, I can do it using the browser, or I can do it using the console. So if I'm doing using the console, of course, it's exactly the same as we did earlier. Let's just refresh this one. We can refresh this one. Why is that? Let's see. Oh, this is great. We are not running. Now it should run. Let's see. Okay. Let's check it out. Yeah, again, so you get like a formatted version of what we saw earlier. You get the HTML preview in the console. You get the plain text preview and the render statistics. And if you want to use the browser, this is actually the default value, so you don't need to specify it. So if I will refresh my browser now, hopefully we will get a preview. So you see my browser in a new browser window, we can see the preview. It saves the HTML output locally as a temp file on your system, and it just displays it on a new browser window. And you can see this is our email template that we saw earlier, and it uses columns. And hopefully, if we will make the screen smaller, you can see this is responsive. So the columns are now displayed vertically instead of horizontally. And this is nice. And this is about it. This is Sailkit from a very, very high overview. Uh, Let me just switch to it. I invite you all to go to the Sailkit documentation site at sailkit.xyz, where you can find all the documentation about the library. And really, the most important thing for me, there are a lot of improvements needs to be made to this library. There are a lot of things that we are currently implementing pretty naively, but the most important thing for me is to hear you guys. So please play with it. Let me know what you think, what you like, what you don't like. If you find any issues, if you find any bugs, if you have any ideas for SailKit, I would love to hear that. And hopefully we will keep making it better. as a great toolkit for us SvelteKit developers to deal with email templates. So that's about it.
Yeah, pretty cool. Very a very cool project. I did a bit of email, like I had to build some email, and I can confirm it is painful. So
Yeah,
thank you for taking the burden from us. Because I mean, at the end of the day, you still need to build the email, but you need to build it in your components. So it's not something that it's too different. Like it's easier for us, not for you. So happy. We have a question actually. Why not make MJML and peer dependency of Sailkit?
that's actually a great question. There are two possible answers for this question. The first one is ESM compatibility with MGML is difficult, to say the least. I tried, honestly. I tried at first, but it is too complicated. And when I tried to deal with it, I figured, okay, I don't want to take credit from MJML. MJML is an amazing library. I didn't invent it. I'm just wrapping a Svelte ecosystem around it. So you are using MJML. The HTML output is a pure MJML engine output. I didn't produce this output, so I didn't want to include it in. But it's a possibility. If it's going to be a problem in the future. So we'll find a way to solve it. But as for now, I think I like the fact that MGML is another dependency. It's not part of Sailkit. Sailkit just relies on it.
Okay, okay, pretty cool. One question that I had is why, like, what are your render function doing specifically? I think, like, I assume it's probably calling MJML.
The render functions basically right now, and there are a lot of improvements we can do. The render function takes the components, the props, and the options. They are extracting, they are using the Svelte built-in render function, the new one, because in Svelte 5 it's a new one from Svelte server. And so they are rendering the component. Then we are doing a nasty trick to remove all the Svelte comments, because Svelte outputs a lot of comments, and then we extract the MGML. Uh, we extract the MGML code because basically the circuits components are pretty much, we are using the at HTML escape hatch of Svelte, which is not ideal. We should probably do it differently in the future, but it works. Yeah, we need to escape some HTML maybe. I think it would be wise. But so we are extracting the MGML markup from the components. We send it over to the MGML engine. We then convert it to HTML.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was just a question. I don't think it's on a hack. Yeah, like the at HTML, it's probably not useful to use like in normal Svelte components. Not that useful. Like it is useful, and sometimes you actually have to use it. It's discouraged because obviously, like it's not like it's raw HTML. It's just inner HTML. If
Yeah,
user use script alert pwned, you will get script alert pwned. So that's why it's discouraged. But for your use case, I think it's perfect because at the end of the day, you are
yeah,
just building, like you're creating a renderer for emails. So I think
yeah. It's true. It's
it's
true. But we do need to be ready for unexpected input.
yeah,
So if a user uses SailKit inputs any kind of weird HTML, that could be a problem. So, they're dangerously set in an HTML from React or
yeah,
something like that. We need to see how we can do it more, because in the end of the day, what we want is consistent output. So
yeah,
we'll see. But for now, it works, and I love it. And thank you, Svelte, for that.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I hope I will never need to like develop an email, so I hope I will not need your library. But
But if you do,
in case I will need, I definitely will take a look, because at the end of the day, like it looks like simple HTML, and also like the output was pretty cool. Like
yeah,
I really liked the output. To me, the fact that it's even responsive is a bit of a magic, because I would not know how to do that
yeah,
with email HTML. Which, by the way, like if you are hearing me and you say, wait, why, like he's not even able to like write a responsive HTML, email HTML is a completely different beast. Like you cannot fathom how different it is. So
it is.
thank you very much for joining me, and thank you very much for showing us your project. I will take note, because if I will ever need, I will definitely reach out to try to.
Definitely. Let me know if you need any help. And thank you so much for having me. Keep doing what you do. You're an amazing job.
Okay, thank you guys. I think that's it for today. So if you want to like say hi with me, I hope everybody learned something and you had fun watching this weekend's Svelte, and I'll see you guys next Friday.